Well, today on Plantation Tales, we're actually going to go out here, do a little bit of spoon fishing, but we're going to talk about something that's a big problem with spinning gear. And that problem is line twist. Line twist plagues all anglers who are really utilizing their spinning gear. So after a long day of fishing, whether it's with jerk shad, spoons, bait, whatever, biting fish, you're always going to have a degree of line twist. Why is line twist bad? Line twist is horrible because it leads to great big wind knots. So for me, I have a couple of solutions that I'm going to share with all of you today on the Plantation Tales, and it's how to untwist your line, how to avoid this problem, and how to fix it when you have it. So there are many attributes to using spinning tackle. Ease of use, the ability to throw lighter lures, the ability to skip underneath mangrove edges like we have here or boat docks. But one of the biggest negatives to using spinning gear would have to be line twist. We get tons of line twist, and you can almost see it in this braid right now. There's a lot of line twist, and the reason is I'm using a spoon. So when you're doing a lot of high-speed reeling with a spoon, the spoon is creating twist. Now, it's been greatly minimized because I've got a swivel on here, but still, you're gonna have line twist if you're throwing spoons. You're also gonna have line twist if you have an improperly Texas-rigged jerk shad or paddle tail that's not rigged quite right, and it wants to rotate while you're reeling it in real quick. It'll start to twist your line. The other way to get line twist is to reel on slack line. If you're reeling a lot of slack line in, you'll get a little bit of line twist. Probably the biggest reason folks get line twist is their drags are set very light. They get a big fish on and they start running. That fish runs and they're reeling against the drag. You've seen it happen where you hear the drag going out and you're reeling against it. All you're doing is twisting line. So you're probably saying, what's the big deal about twisted line? Well, twisted line creates wind knots and weak points in the line. So it's important after a day of fishing to try to get the twist out. Now there's two ways to do it. One's the old-fashioned way my dad showed me, and that's to tie a piece of line to something like at the house and then put a swivel on it, connect to that swivel, open your bail and walk maybe 30-40 yards from that, let's just say a tree or a post, and then pull on it really tight and then reel that tight line, because what happens is that swivel will uncoil or unspiralize, untwist your braid or your mono back in those days. But when you're on the water and you're facing the same thing, there's an easier way to do it, and I'm going to show that one to you right now. So in addition to the on-land method where you use a swivel tied on a piece of line and you pull all your line out and then reel your way back to it to untwist line, when you're on the water, cut your lure off. You can't have a lure. You can't have leader either, so the leader has to be cut. Nothing but the braid. So I'm going to take my scissors, put them up there on my lodestone, and I'm going to start easing away, pulling out of here, and I'm going to let it pull the line off. And all I'm going to do is let the friction of the water pull the line off the reel and untwist it. It will literally untwist it. You're probably thinking to yourself, how much do I leave out there? Well, I'm going to go until I don't see any more twist in the spool. So I'm going to keep it going And it's usually a good idea because a lot of us, when we're casting lighter test lines, 8 to 10 pound, it's good to let it go out about 30 or 40 yards. So I just keep letting it go out, and as I'm moving slow, it's untwisting. Now it's important that you just don't hold it 90 degrees to your boat. See how I'm putting it directly behind the boat, in line with the boat? So I'm just gonna travel. Looks like right about there, it's good. Then I'm gonna shut it, and I'm gonna continue to let it untwist. It's naturally gonna wanna come untwisted. The water's pulling on it, so it's just gonna untwist it. Once I get it up here a little bit further, I usually do this for 5 or 6 minutes. Then I'm going to pinch the line, and I'm gonna reel it back on with quite a bit of tension. That tension is going to squeeze it and untwist it a little bit more. By doing that, all the twist is out, and I'm right back to where I started again. I can just tie my leader back on, and then I'm good for tomorrow. It's pretty easy. It's a simple trick, and if you've got the time after a day of fishing, then you don't have to do that after you wash the boat and do it at home like we used to. It's a great little trick. In review, while we're waiting for this to untwist, remember, there's only a few things that'll twist it up. A poorly rigged soft plastic, a spoon, regardless whether it has a swivel or not. Reeling against the drag will definitely do it. Putting your line on improperly will do it. And to take that a little bit further, in the description below, I'll have my guys put a link to how to spool a spinning rod. And then you'll understand that you can mess everything up before you ever get started. All right, I'm gonna stop the boat and we're gonna reel this back in. So after allowing the line to untwist itself with the friction of the water, now I'm going to pinch the line up here with a lot of tension. I like to pinch it hard, and I'm gonna put it on here. You can hear it. And I'm gonna take whatever twist is left and take it out. And this thing will look just perfect. I'll be ready to tie my leader back on. And twist gets in spinning gear quite easily. It really does. So it's important to do this every once in a while. Twist is just inherent when you're using spinning gear, period. All right, here's my line. In some cases, I'll find it necessary to do it twice, but there's not any twist in the spool anymore, and I'm in great shape. All I've got to do is tie another leader on. We're ready to go. But right now, I can't believe I'm saying this again. I see some bad weather, so we ought to head back to the plantation. Who knows, maybe take time to grab some lunch.